thank you for staying with us. We pick it from there. We are discussing animal products and our health. And we just found out that it is not a must that we take animal products for proteins, because we have a number of legumes, we have a number of bean types, which are enough to give us proteins. Now, we just left on that point of people who take animal products, they are more aggressive. And just before, maybe you don't understand these ethnic communities, when you go to the jungle, you'll find animals which take more of animal products, not even more. When they take animal products, that is the lion and all the others, even the dogs and the cat, they are very, very much aggressive. When you, for example, go to the cat at home, you give it milk, it will take it. When you pull the milk, it will just, it will not be as violent compared to us when it is taking meat, then you pull the meat away. So it shows us, nature is teaching us something from that. These tribes or these ethnic communities in Kenya which take animal products, they are more violent, they are more aggressive. Just look for yourself, compare those tribes I've mentioned with, for example, the Luya people in Kenya. They don't take a lot, as much as they take chicken, but they don't take it as often as how the Maasais take meat. So it is an important field of study. You can research more on that, and you can ask questions concerning it. Now, what do you say about the behavior of a person and the food that he takes, much more on animal products?
That's a very interesting question. In fact, as you've been saying, when you look in the jungle, animals that feed on grass, they're in a group. The other ones that always hunt, they are solitary. Even if they're two, they'll fight for that meat. And that should not amaze you if you go to a party or somewhere and they're serving meat in a certain corner and they're serving dengu in another corner. One corner will have a lot of blows and pushings and quarrels. Yet another corner will be peaceful. And it will not amaze you that those who are fighting for meat will even cross over to pick some dengu. That's how it animalizes our behavior. But one thing I should also not forget is taking a lot of animal products has increased adultery in both youth and adults. The reason is being our sex hormones are made of fat, and this fat, when you take animal products, you will have enough, but you will be able to have self-control. But when you take animal products, you will have excess of fat and more hormones will be made. And if it's men, they will always be on fire. If it's women, they will always be on craving. So find that people no longer have self-control. As God says, you have one wife, they have multitudes. And same thing, morality is going down, because if you see a dog or a cat or a chicken, if they want to do stuff, they'll not say, let's go to the bedroom, or let's go where people are not are. They'll satisfy themselves wherever they are. And when you go to campus, you'll find young girls on streets, in classes, and wherever, because dependingly on how they eat. And also, women have a problem. They're complaining of domestic violence. Sometimes they're forced. This is because the husbands are always sparkling because of the heavy eating of meat. So we always advise people, if you see your husband, your boyfriend, or so ever has a problem, just change the diet. You will become.
Wow, that one is quite funny, that people who eat, I noted that people who also get money, when someone is having money and he wants to buy something, that selfishness at times comes into the person. When someone does not have money, he wants a lot of people. And that is the same thing. Meat is almost an idol to some people. When it is there, people may fight. And in Kenya, for example, when you go for these parties, you'll find where meat is eaten, people will always be violent. You'll not find people struggling to take dengu, but mostly you'll find them struggling for bones. What about vitamin B12? Vitamin B12 is only found in animals. That is what we are told. So what's your take? What is the truth?
I always like that question, and I always ask myself, one, when you look at all animals, they're under mammals, of which human beings are also mammals. So if these other mammals can get vitamin B12, how comes that man can't have her own vitamin B12? Number two reasoning, I'm wondering if man did not fall into sin, and God had told them to eat a vegetarian diet, were they to have consequences and deficiency of vitamin B12? And leaving alone that, when you look at the people who lived before the floods, before meat was by authority allowed by God to be eaten, there is no way you can say that the generation suffered from deficiency of vitamin B12. And these are the people, history says that they lived for over 2,000, others say 2,050 years. So I don't want to see that as a standing reason. But I may say, perhaps unless you have another secondary reason that is perhaps developing the absorption and whatsoever, but not because of the vitamin B12 deficiency. And one thing I want to come to our notice is that in our mouth, as we go to sleep, we have some bacteria that prepare vitamin B12 in our system. And also at the cecum, where the small intestine is joining the large intestine, around there, vitamin B12 is manufactured there within your system. And as you also eat variety of vitamin B complex, we know they're different. As you eat a variety of them, then inside the body, they make a chain of the vitamin B12. And one thing I want people to know is that we don't need a bunch of vitamins. Vitamins and minerals, they're needed in a very small quantity, of which the one manufactured in your body is just enough. But lacking it, because they're so essential, they will affect you. But our body makes what is enough. Perhaps I'll give a caution that most people, as they wake up, they brush their teeth and they spit out all the vitamin B12. I'll advise that we rather brush our teeth at night. When you wake up, the mouth is smooth. You begin with a glass of warm water so that the vitamin B12 can go inside your body.
Okay, that one is interesting. 2,000 years before the floods, there was no intake of meat. It is after the floods, according to the Genesis creation story, the creation tells us that the Bible tells us that these people lived for 2,000 years and they are living more than 900 years. After that is when people, after discovering this vitamin B12 excuse, they are now living up to 400. No, not now. The first generation after creation, they are living 120 downwards. So that one, go and think about it. Go and research more about it. As we near the end, what about white meat?
I like that. You know, there is this theory that perhaps when you have diabetes or like blood pressure, they tell you leave the red meat and you eat the white what? But when I went to the history, I always love to do my medicine in the Bible because God is the author of life. And when you look, when the children of Israelites were complaining, they were like, we used to be in Egypt and we were eating fish because River Nile was just by them. And what God gave them, because they cried for fish, which is white meat, God gave them quails, which are alternatively white what?
White meat.
And what happened? When you read the Bible, it tells you that plagues came. These people's life were downtrodden, that many died because of the heavy eating of white meat. Now I want to be specific on white meat. White meat has a lot of cholesterol, more than red meat, okay, dependingly, because if pork is white meat, you can't tell me that chicken and fish has less and they're in the same class. That's why we classify them the same way. It's true that the flesh, the outer cover, the outer flesh of the chicken, it has almost 7% of the cholesterol. But if you don't eat it, even your chicken will not be sweet. And another thing we need to consider about white meat, that is speaking about the fish, most of our waters are highly contaminated with mercury and other disastrous matters, and they are the first leading of cancer. And going also to another thing, what makes these animals white as they are is because they don't have blood, meaning they also have less oxygen. Most of the disease causing organisms, they thrive in absence of what? Oxygen. So they have a lot of wadudu, they have a lot of worms and name it and how whatsoever, and they're highly causing allergy in the human race. So it is not safe at all for us to say that we shall subsist on the white meat.
Okay, we almost come to the end of this program for today. You are having a question, you are having a comment, you can channel them anytime you feel like through the numbers which appear on your screen. What can we eat now that there is no meat? That is finally your final statement on what and how we should eat.
We have a lot of substitutes, but for meat specifically, you just need to know what was I gaining in meat. One is protein and perhaps some fat. So when you do legumes, those are beans, dengu, cowpeas, chickpeas, and name them, they'll give you the protein. And then make sure that you also have time to eat nuts so that they give you the essential oils. We have flax seed, we have sun seeds, we have all those seeds. They can contribute to the protein you have. One secret before we close is that carrot alone has enough protein that you can imagine, higher than the one in beans. That was one of the amazing research I came to find out. So carrots.
Okay.
So in children who lose their mothers, they subsist them on carrot juice if they don't have soya bean.
Wow, that is wonderful. I need to take much more of carrots. Carrot is it's good food. Ensure you take it more of raw carrot more than the cooked type of carrot. We come to the end. Next week, don't miss. We'll be discussing much more about milk. May God bless you. My name is Kevin Matelong, and my sister
Navada Zahara.